Hello everyone, I am Afra PS, Faculty, Department of Psychology, Kristu Jayanti College, Bangalore. Today I am going to be talking about ICF model from rehabilitation psychology. The ICF model of rehabilitation psychology, also called as the International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health, known more commonly as ICF, is a classification of health and health-related domains. The International Classification Functioning is the WHO framework for measuring health and disability at both individual and population levels. There are majorly four principles of ICF model: universality, parity and etiological neutrality, neutrality, and environmental influence. Universality talks about how no matter where you're coming from, whichever physical, social, or cultural context you're from, you can be disabled or can have a disorder. Parity and etiological neutrality talks about how mental and physical health are both given importance equally. Basically, it does not give importance to whether it is a physical condition or a mental condition. It gives importance to the functioning of the person, whether it is affecting the person's functioning or not in a society. Neutrality is a principle that talks about how domain-specific words or languages should be neutral. That is, we cannot call or put people in stereotypical ways of calling them cannot be done. Fourth point talks about environmental influence, that the place that they're growing from or the society that they're in or the environment that they're in gives a lot of importance to how they're functioning in a place. Now, the ICF model has many major components. The first component is the health condition, which is a disorder or disease that the individual is suffering from. This affects the body functions and the structures, the activities that the individual does, and the participation. The body structures, functions, activities, and participation is also affected by the environmental factors and the personal factors. Now, health condition is any kind of a disorder or disease that the person is suffering from. Body functions and structures are the bodily structures that is affected by the health condition, and the activities is the daily activities of functioning that is affected by this particular health condition. And participation is how or where that the person that participates, for example, if it is occupational level or if it's in an academic setting, where all the participation is affected. Now, all of these components are affected by the environmental factors and the personal factors. Environmental factors is the society or the cultural context that they're a part of, and personal factors is who they are. Their age, gender, name, etc. comes under personal factors. Now, let's look into an example. Here, there are two different cases. Both are male of 30 years with a spinal cord injury. In the first case, we can see that the spinal cord injury is something that affects the person's muscular power functions and the spinal cord basically. And the activities that is affected is that they have a difficulty in moving and walking. Here, in the first case, we can see that there is a restricted participation. Now, the reason for this restricted participation is because the public transport and building design are barriers to this person. Barriers is anything that affects the functioning or does not fully support the functioning of a person in a society or a context of situation. In the second case, with the same person, a male of 30 years, we can see that the educational system, the building design and immediate family are facilitators, which means that there is a good building design. Probably there are places where you can roll the wheelchair can be rolled, and there are buses where there is space for people to sit who have a spinal cord injury, and immediate family are probably a very great social support system for them, which becomes facilitators. When the environmental factors are facilitators for this particular person with the same spinal cord injury, we can see that the participation is significantly improving. The person's participation in employment settings and in leisure settings are having no problems whatsoever compared to the person who finds that the environment is a barrier to them. From this example, I hope you understood the ICF model. Thank you.